I the jerk for refusing to go to a wedding because my parent wants to control what I am wearing? My cousin is getting married, and despite knowing about the wedding for over a year, they have only just given my mother an invite. The wedding is on the 3rd of August. They invited my mother and my sister, but not me. However, my sister isn't around, and my mother asked if I could come instead since I was already planning to visit home. They and I said yes, so I ordered a few dresses on ASOS because I didn't have much time and found one that fits perfectly, is very cute, and perfect for the wedding. I sent some pictures to some friends, my sister and my mother. Everyone complimented it and loved the dress except my mother, who completely lost her composure. She said all of the dresses look awful, they are disgusting and whatnot. They are pretty standard dresses, and the reaction is not justified at all. I was hurt because I liked some of them and immediately lost all interest in the wedding. She started sending me mad, ugly dresses that I would never wear, which I found insulting. I am 31 years old. I should be able to wear what I want. Based on that reaction, I told her that I didn't want to come anymore. I wasn't super interested in the first place and would have only come to accompany her, but now I didn't feel like doing that anymore. I also had other reasons which I shared with her. I am broke, so spending money unexpectedly on transport, clothes that only she likes and I will never wear again, and cash as a wedding present isn't working for me. I am having a tough year and can barely pay my rent and bills. I am the only cousin or younger person there. None of the other cousins are invited, even though the bride is much closer to them. I haven't spoken to her in the last 20 years, and it's kind of strange that I should come and give her money. I am visiting them from a different country and have already booked my flight tickets with hand luggage only before the invite. I refuse to pay an extra £130 to bring a dress, shoes, etc. for one day. And just to be clear, this is not a very glamorous wedding, so what I am wearing isn't even such a big deal, but my mother just needs to control me until she gets whatever she wants, and I am sick of it. I should be allowed to wear whatever I want and feel comfortable. I'm not even talking about some crazy outfit choice. It is a lovely red dress. Anyway, we have been fighting for 3 days now, and she keeps sending me ugly dresses and refuses to accept that I do not want to come anymore. I am supposed to visit and stay with her for the next 3 weeks, and she completely ignores my feelings or the fact that I won't play this game. She now got my sister involved and asked her to bring all her dresses before she leaves, so I have something to wear. We aren't even the same size and don't have the same style. I keep telling her I'm not going, and she is still trying to force me. Any suggestions are welcome, thanks. You are not to blame. Your mother is making this a much bigger issue than it needs to be, especially since she seems to be the only person who actually cares about what dress you are wearing. Just refuse to engage with her on the wedding, the dress, her whole circus. Honestly, it sounds like the whole visit with your mom is not going to go well, so maybe reconsider even going. Am I the jerk for ignoring my sibling for weeks after they said they were happy our cat was dying? My sister, a 17-year-old female, has repeatedly made it clear to my family and me that she hates our family cat and couldn't care less about her. She based this opinion solely on the premise that she is not a cat person, despite my cat keeping her distance from my sister and never doing anything to get in her way. My cat was a birthday gift I received when I was 5 years old, and she was one of my closest companions growing up. She helped me cope with times such as my parents' divorce and my diagnosis of depression. A couple of weeks ago, my cat started feeling sick and refused to eat, so we immediately called the vet. Over the phone, they told us that it was most likely kidney failure and to prepare for the worst as we might have to put her down. We made an appointment at 5 p.m., knowing we would lose our cat in a couple of hours. This was unfortunately the only appointment time we could get, but it happened to be at the same time my sister was getting her graduation photos. We didn't want my cat to suffer any longer, so we took the appointment time, and my mother was able to reschedule my sister's graduation photos for a different time. My mother and I decided to spend the rest of the day with my cat, but within our last hour with her, we started crying. While I understood that my sister and my cat weren't the closest, I thought my sister would at least feel bad for our loss. Instead, she proceeded to yell at us and say how selfish it was for us to reschedule her senior pictures and that we always ruined her plans. She followed it up by saying that she was happy our cat was dying and was relieved she will never have to see her around the house again after today. After these comments and many similar to them, I immediately started yelling at my sister, and we got into an argument in which I called her heartless for hating a cat that never did anything to her. My sister was able to get her old appointment time back and went to get her pictures while my mother and I took my cat to the vet. Ever since the vet appointment where we had to put down our cat, I haven't had a conversation with my sister and will only say simple words to her, such as yes or no. She has continued to make comments about how she doesn't care that I am grieving and I need to get over it. My mother has been pushing me to get over what my sister said since I will be leaving to go back to college soon, and she doesn't want us to be on bad terms. My mother also claims this is my sister's way of coping with the loss, and that we all grieve differently. I am still reluctant to forgive my sister, considering she hasn't even attempted to apologize for what she has said. As of now, I don't plan on breaking the no contact. Am I the asshole for doing so? You are not the cause of this issue. Your sister is being cruel and selfish, not grieving. She lacks empathy and care for her own family members, which is a huge red flag. If your mom really wants to improve the relationship, she needs to push your sister to change, not you. Am I the jerk for not cleaning up meals I didn't even eat? I recently moved with my partner, Alex, to a town closer to his parents, Sarah and John, and his sister, Paula, and her boyfriend, Nick. Up until recently, they had been really nice and welcoming. This weekend, his parents planned a camping trip. Despite us offering to help with the cost of the sites, they declined and we thanked them several times. I have celiac disease and other dietary restrictions, so I opted to bring my own meals, snacks, and drinks on the trip, while Sarah, John, Paula, and Nick shared food. We also decided I would serve Alex, Sarah, and John a meal on the last day after Paula and Nick had left. Sarah, John, Paula, and Nick did a lot of cooking throughout the entire trip and had many parts to their meals because they hadn't prepped anything. I, on the other hand, did a lot of prep before, maybe 30 hours total, and didn't have any prep or cleanup during the trip. When it was time for them to clean up from their meals, I spent 2 minutes cleaning mine and then hung out while they spent 15 to 20 minutes. I thought this made sense since they had their own food, and gluten gives me rashes. Sunday was weird because I spent the day vomiting and Paula and Nick decided to stay for dinner. I had only made enough for 4 large portions, so I said we'd need to supplement with salads. Sarah and Paula got weird about this and didn't have any of my dinner. They made 24 hot dogs and kept talking about how they had to cook so much food because I didn't make enough. John, Nick, Alex, and I had the dinner I made, and then I got nauseous and left to get sick. I was also hurt by the way Sarah and Paula were acting, so I took this time to hang out in the woods for about 20 minutes to clear my head. I texted Alex that I would do the dishes when I got back. Alex offered to do them for me since he hadn't done any prep leading up, so I accepted. When it was time for full camp cleanup, I unhooked and tied up ropes, loaded stuff into cars, did a dumpster run, and helped quite a bit with the aftermath of the camp that wasn't food-related. When we were leaving, Sarah was saying goodbye and was extremely cold towards me. I didn't understand why, so when we got back from camping, I sent a message that said, "Hey, thanks again for the camping trip. Sorry I was so sick yesterday." She responded that she didn't believe I was sick. Sarah then called Alex and said that by not helping prep and clean up things, and only thanking them when the site came up, I was ungrateful, not helpful, and lazy. She cited that I had some bottled water, used some paper towel, and had some candy in addition to her providing the site, so as a thank you, I should have contributed to the meals. Alex told her that was ridiculous and one quality about me is how helpful I try to be, so he's with me here. I ended up sending her my full 1/6 of the total cost, plus an extra $50 for candy, water, and paper towels. Her response was, "It's not about the money, but I no longer want to accept any offers at face value." So Reddit, am I the asshole for not helping with meals I couldn't eat? You acted correctly. The timing of you getting sick seems really suspicious, almost like they could have secretly snuck something glutinous into your food. What an unwelcoming family, yikes. It's good that your partner has your back, and sticking to camping with just him sounds like a solid plan. At least now you know how they are and can keep your distance in the future. Am I the jerk for scolding my sibling when I noticed they were eavesdropping? I usually never pay attention to any of my younger siblings' actions given that they are just kids being kids, and I rarely ever scold or question what they do. However, I live in a jam-packed family home with lots of people, lots of issues with one another's dislikes, and lots of gossip. There was a time that my aunt approached me and mentioned that one of my younger sisters kept passing by suspiciously every time there was a group of adults conversing. She explained that she suspects my sister was eavesdropping and whatever information she picked up, she reported to her mother, who is my stepmother and works abroad. I fully thought that my aunt was overthinking it as she had just moved in after a divorce, and she had a hard time because my stepmother prevented her from getting an area of the house for herself. So there's some hate going on between the two of them. Yet, one night while I was cleaning the kitchen sink, I noticed another aunt of mine call my youngest sibling, who is the baby of the family. They invited her to their room to talk about how much they'd pay for her once they take her to a buffet since someone's birthday was coming up. After a while, I kept hearing someone's footsteps going up and down the stairs a lot, and when I glanced behind my back, it was that sister of mine who suspectedly likes to eavesdrop on people. I paid it no mind, but around the 4th or 5th time she passed by behind my back, I started getting suspicious of her actions and secretly started monitoring what she was doing. I may have confirmed my aunt's suspicions as I witnessed my sister go inside the bathroom, pretend to wash her hands, and stare at her nails for more than 5 minutes. She then proceeded to turn the water on, and when it was almost full, she turned it off and got out. Next thing, she was hanging around near the door to my aunt's room, casually pretending like she was picking up any mess she found. Not suspicious enough? She doesn't even clean. So by the 7th time that I caught her passing by me, I raised my voice a little and asked, "What are you doing over there?" She flinched, told me she wasn't doing anything, and ran off. Apparently my voice was loud enough for my father to hear, so we spent a good amount of time arguing about why I raised my voice at my younger sister. So, am I the asshole? You are not in the wrong here. You didn't do anything wrong, you just asked your little sister a question. It's not a big deal whether your suspicions are well-founded or not. You're essentially doing other people's work, mainly your parents or any other guardian present. Am I the jerk for wanting a private baby shower? I recently found out that I am pregnant with our first baby. We had previously suffered 2 miscarriages and kept those private outside of immediate family and a few close friends. My spouse and I were discussing our plans for our baby shower. I expressed that I would like for it to be a private event while requesting that our guests not post any congratulatory pictures, videos, or messages on social media at all prior to us announcing the birth of our baby. My spouse thinks that I am being unreasonable in this request and that I am potentially putting them in an uncomfortable position by supporting me in this request. I rarely ever post my life on social media, and my spouse is relatively the same. I am a firm believer in honoring anyone's request that I have been a part of special moments with these types of requests. I feel like these types of events are not about the guests. It is about the people you are celebrating and their wishes. My spouse seems to think they will have to be a guard dog with monitoring our guests during the event to make sure that I will not become upset. I explained to my spouse that they will not have to do that because I have no problem blocking people that do not respect my wishes. My spouse thinks that I am being unreasonable and will not bend on this request. My compromise was saying if my spouse feels so uncomfortable or upset by potentially being the bad guy, then we do not have to have a baby shower, and we would just share our registry with those who asked and wanted to give a gift. This is not an option for my spouse as well, because they feel like we are not enjoying the process by doing the normal thing of having a baby shower experience for our first. Please let me know, am I the antagonist for requesting this of my guests? Or would my guests be the antagonists for not honoring my request? P.S. Squad, I really do want to celebrate this experience. I just do not want people's feelings to overshadow the moment by them being inconsiderate for an unnecessary post. I prefer to be present in the moment and have intimate memories without letting the world know. Is that asking too much in today's society? It's completely valid to want your baby shower to be private, especially given your past experiences. Asking people not to post about your pregnancy on social media is a completely reasonable request. It might help to have an open conversation with your spouse about finding a compromise that makes both of you comfortable. Perhaps a compromise could be having the shower after the baby is born or close to the due date. Am I the jerk for planning to move to California for my relationship's best interest? My partner, a 30-year-old male, and I, a 27-year-old female, have been dating for a year, and we really want to get married in a few years when I graduate from nursing school in 2026. We want to move to Northern California where one of my friends lives. I have lived in Central Texas my whole life, and I have great relationships with my mom, dad, and friends here. I see my mom and dad at least once every 2 weeks. We want to leave Texas because my partner might be transgender. They are not sure yet, and they want to try hormone therapy. However, they do not feel safe doing so in a red state like Texas. They do not want me to share that they might be transgender with anyone. My partner works in tech and is very confident that they can work from home or find a new job there. I think I can find a nursing job there as well. My best friend, who is also moving to California, had to have an abortion under terrible circumstances that I am not allowed to mention here, and that has also scared me about this state. I take birth control for pain and worry that it will be banned. I am left-wing and my dad is right-wing. My dad is actually transgender himself, but does not want to transition or seek therapy because he is afraid of how others will react. I have the Frontier Go Wild Pass, cheap flight pass, and I plan to use it to visit Texas often. I decided I would rather live in California and visit Texas than the other way around. My friends and family are accepting of me planning to move in a few years except for my dad and sister. The conflict is that my dad has been crying, telling me I am ripping apart our family by moving, and that it is selfish for me to go to California. My dad was divorced by my mom and has abandonment issues because his father abandoned him. He keeps texting me, telling me how selfish I am, and he is literally sobbing. I plan to still call him often and visit often, but this is what I want to do with my life right now. I feel like such a jerk to my dad. Am I the asshole for moving away to experience new things and live in a safer place with my partner? You haven't done anything wrong. Your dad's issues are his own to work out, not yours, and you're not required to live in the same state as him. You can only live your life and do what is best for you, and if that means leaving Texas, then so be it. You are more than willing to come back and visit, which is more than most would be willing to do. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.